Yeah, can you turn me up in here?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't hear anything. Welcome to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. We got a brand new show this week. Tons of great information. We got all kind of exciting stuff. We have the brand new micro market numbers in, and they're interesting to say the least. We got some that are really up, some that are down, and we'll just talk about what's going on in your specific neighborhood, your zip code, and we'll talk about also some national numbers, some good news out there, and also where some seems to be cooling down. And the good news is I've been watching pending deals very, very closely lately to kind of see what's going to happen in the future. We've seen a great bounce back here in the past few weeks. We'll talk about kind of what's going on with that. And the pending deals have really bumped back up to some great numbers. We'll talk about that. Over 700 properties under contract in the last 7 days, which is great. We did see our first decline of the year, which is interesting. We saw the month versus month decline. We'll talk about that as well. One thing too to note is that interest rates have taken another big jump. So we're seeing those slowly climb up. And so that's something we want to keep in mind if I'm looking to buy or sell, because it will affect both sides of that transaction. Because if less buyers can qualify for your house, guess what? Less buyers are going to be able to buy that. And so that's something that's very important. One thing we've had on our docket the past 2 weeks, we haven't had a chance to get to, and hopefully might today, is really break down the data on why there's such a significant shortage in terms of inventory being so low across the country. And it really just has to do with just amount of houses being built the last decade. And we'll break that data down for you. Also, some amazing, amazing success stories. Our team's been absolutely crushing it. Over 20 plus under contract last week. I think we were close to 30. And one situation, we got a lady $80,000 more dollars than the previous person told her they could get it, and we got it within 2 days. And so I'll talk about that, how that works, and we'll talk about some great stuff here as well. I can't. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Which one?
Or there.
5?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. There we go. Yes, and that's the main reason why we do this show. The biggest why behind why we do what we do, just because there's so many horror stories. And it doesn't matter, how affluent the buyer or the seller is, how many houses they've sold before. It just seems that they tend to make the same mistake over and over and over. Even people that listen to this radio show for many years have made the same mistake. And people that we know that are, very prominent in the community. And here's the deal: everyone makes this huge mistake of thinking that all real estate agents are the same, and it could not be further from the truth. And if you do that for any amount of time in the real estate world, you find out very, very quickly that they're just not. Just like any doctor, any lawyer, there's a massive difference between the absolute best and just the average, right? If I'm charged with a crime I did not commit, the last thing I want is a part-time attorney who's my friend who's tried a couple cases last year, but they'll list their largest asset with a friend agent who's only sold a couple houses ever. And one of the success stories we'll talk about where someone listed their friend, it was absolutely botched, totally dropped the ball, and we came in, picked that ball up and slam dunked it for them. And so we'll talk about how that works, because here's why that is. And so most people don't realize that there's 118 different variables from A to Z when you're selling a property. So if each one's handled correctly, guess what it does? It puts money in your pocket, the property gets sold. If anything's handled incorrectly, aka that dropped the ball at any point, and that could be anything from the quality of photos, the order of the photos. Does your agent answer the telephone when someone actually calls the for sale sign? Do they actually respond to web leads when they come in online? If they do respond, how fast they respond. There's all these things that can happen from A to Z. And if anything's dropped that costs you your hard-earned equity, or in many cases, what happens, when the market's not quite as hot as the property doesn't sell. Now we're seeing they can still sell it. Anybody can sell it, but they're leaving 10, 20, 30, $40,000 on the table. And it makes a big, big difference. So what we said and what I said is, hey, look, there's got to be a better way. And so I looked out and we identified every single variable in the right order, so we can do the right things in the right order. And so we say, hey, look, there's 118 variables. How do we create a system that's proven and repeatable, that creates maximum leverage at every single point and does one thing? It gives our client a competitive advantage when they're selling a property. And so we did that. We built that out with both people and technology. We designed our own software, and to make sure we can manage those variables proactively with a big team and everyone who's a specialist and not someone who's a generalist. And so it's called the guaranteed sold system. The only proven system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well. And see, the problem is you usually have in most of the real estate industry, about 95% industry is one single agent who's trying to juggle all the balls. So, for example, it's like having the same person at McDonald's through the front register, the drive through, and the French fries at the same time. And so, if you do that, the experience is not going to be very good, but they'll list with one single agent who's trying to do all these things themselves, all 118 different variables on multiple properties, and they wonder why the balls constantly keep getting dropped. And so that's why we share this system and share this on the radio show, because people make this mistake over and over and over again of thinking that agents are the same. We designed that program to give you a huge competitive advantage. And so on the flip side, there's 100 plus variables for buyers out there. If each one's handled correctly, you save money, get the property you want. But if not, the agent's not experienced and can't get you what you need, then that costs you your hard-earned money. Or what's happening right now is you're not getting the property that you want, or you're not getting the advice in the right way. And so we create a system called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System, gives priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as the home inspection to get you to the closing table successfully. And so both of those are why we do this show. We do this show to really educate and say, look, how can we bring value to you to make better decisions with your largest assets? But on the flip side, I want to really just kind of share what most people don't realize is that if you really go through it, what most agents do, their only value proposition is really the three P's. One, they promise you the world to get listing, aka tell you anything and everything that you want to hear to get your house listed. Number two, they put it to MLS. And three, they pray that someone else brings a buyer. And meanwhile, they're down the street trying to get the next listing. Why is that? Because they're just trying to survive in the current marketplace. And so that's how it's been for a very long time. I grew up in the business, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma. I've seen it my entire life growing up in real estate offices, and I started that way myself. And so it wasn't until I looked at it outside of real estate and say, look, how are real businesses operating with multiple people and specialists and people who can execute each aspect correctly versus the old school model. We call it an iPad 2 of what we have versus an old school cassette tape. But the problem is 90+% of agents still operate like an old school cassette tape. And so listen to the show. We'll talk more about that. But if you want to know more about how that system works and how to get the most amount of money for your home when you sell it, reach out to us, 843-808-SOLD. Take a quick break. Come right back. We gonna put that new spot in?
What's that?
We gonna put the new spot in.
Where do you want it? Do you want it in the second break?
That's fine. Yeah, I'll debut it that one.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't want to turn that up. Apparently, somebody's turned that way down. If I turn it up, we might get feedback.
Okay.
So does the headphones work okay?
That's fine for now. I'm streaming, but yeah, I'll look. Hey, try it now. I try it. Try it now. I turned it up. The speaker?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Okay.
On a Sunday, and the show was Saturday.
Welcome back to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Got some brand new market numbers in for you. We're going to go over the micro market. One thing we're excited about that just reminded me in that last break is we have a brand new debut of a brand new commercial with Sean Henry now coming out. Him and I did that together, and super, super proud of that. Been working with Sean since 2008, 2009, and so very, very long time, and very, very proud to be in business with him. So we'll share that one in the next break as our plan. So really quick, looking at the quick recap for the macro market. Macro market's like, hey, what's happening all across the Grand Strand, right? Brunswick, North Carolina, all the way down to Georgetown, and also inland, of course. And so we'll look at closed sales. Last month, we saw the first decline. We saw month versus month, year versus year. And so they compare that September 2021 versus September 2020. Right now, it's showing a 6.5% decrease. Last week's show was right at 8%. And the reason that changed is because agents are putting data in 22 days, 23, 24 days later. And so that's just something that you run into. Again, it goes back to those agents juggling balls. They're so busy, it takes them 20 plus days to enter the sales in. So here's the deal. It declined down to 678 home sales last month. The one thing that kind of worried me a little bit is we saw a drop since June. June was 797, and we did 678 this month. The good news is it actually bounced back a little bit. It dropped down in July to 653, and now we're back up to 678. So that's great news. The good part here, and I was a little concerned with seeing the softening for a few months in a row. One thing that we've been talking about in my office a lot is the median price has really flattened out. We've really seen it be virtually the same the last 3 months. And so, for example, right now it's $325,000 for median home sale price, which is awesome. It's 20.1% increase from the same time last year. But if you go back, it was the same price in August, 325, and then it was 324,750 in July. And so the last 3 months of median price only gone up $250. And so that just kind of shows we're hitting that ceiling, that peak of what's, really affordability wise here on the Grand Strand. And so we're going to see that probably continue to climb. One thing you are seeing that is an average sale price. Average price is up 17.2%, a new record, which is amazing. $416,890 right now, which is unbelievable. I grew up here, like I said, and I remember in the wintertime as a kid, we'd take business 17 and the red lights would flash yellow. And back then, the average sale price was way different. So very, very proud of that. We're competing. And also, I talked a few weeks ago how the Horry County will probably lead the charge for biggest increase in home values this year in the state, which is awesome. So one thing that's driving that has been inventory. We're in an inventory crisis, and right now what we call a super seller's market. And so inventory from the same time last year, and so if you compare September 2020 for September 2021, it's down 51.7% at 1.4 months, and it's been at 1.4 months for the past almost 3 months right now. We did hit a low in May of 1.1 months, and there was a part of May, we tracked it live, that was at 0.9 months inventory. And what that means is anything less than 6 months is a seller's market, meaning the seller has the advantage. Anything above 6 months in inventory means the buyer has the advantage. And as you can tell, being at 1.4 months, that sellers have a very, very, very big advantage right now, just because there's more buyers right now than there is availability of homes to sell. And so that's why details matter. And that's why you want to make sure you get the most amount of money for your home and take advantage of what's happening. And so as inventory does increase a little bit, you'll probably see some softening in terms of pricing, but so far so good. One thing we do like to track is showings per listing, and that's kind of what lets me know what kind of buyer traffic is coming in. So we peaked out this year in April at 8.2 showings per listing. It's trended down every single month to right now at 6.8 showings per listing. The great news is it's still 30.8% higher than where it was last year. But if you go back to August, it was at 7.2. You go back to June, 7.4, 7.8 in May, and then 8.2 in April. So we're seeing a steady decline there. This shows a little bit of softening. Also, I talked about this in the previous show that a lot of our year was really heavy first and second quarter just because there was a lot of pain back then. A lot of our clients were very frustrated. They were from the Northeast. They were still in lockdowns. And so that's something to keep in mind. And so really quick, I'm going to run through some of the micro market numbers. This is what I get the most feedback on. It's the hardest to present on radio because I have to fly through all these different zip codes. But this is where people say, look, what's my area? What's my neighborhood doing? Because it is very dynamic based on how far inland you are, if you're north or south. And so the first one is Myrtle Beach, which is 29572 and 29577. Closed sales were down last month, 1.1%. The great news, median price in Myrtle Beach was up 31.2%. So huge charge there from $320 last year right now to $419,950. So $50 away from a $100,000 gain in terms of equity for homeowners in Myrtle Beach, which is awesome. The one thing too, you're looking at inventory in Myrtle Beach down 45.5%. Condos and townhouses, sales there up 39.2%, which is awesome. Median sales price is up 9.4% last month. And here's the crazy part. Inventory in condos down 75.2% in terms of the Grand Strand. So in Myrtle Beach, check this out. Last year in September, there was 1,185 condos for sale. In September of this year, only 294. So literally almost 1,000 less condos on the market right now because people are buying them up. And what happened was everyone bought the home inventory up last year. It got to where it was unaffordable. We had a lot of clients who were priced out of that. Then they moved to condos, and then now those are drying up. And so that's just something We're kind of seeing that's kind of natural there. In North Myrtle Beach, they saw a significant decline last month, 17.7% decrease in sales, which is, pretty large compared to Myrtle Beach there. In the median sales price, though, great news, up 24.7%, 389 last year, up to 485 right now. And also inventory down 43.3%, which is great news. Condo sales in North Myrtle Beach down 17.7%. The great news, price is up 14% at 269,900, and you're seeing the same thing there. Inventory is down 64.2% in terms of condos for sale in North Myrtle Beach, which is 29582. Little River area sales are actually up, which is great, up 4.1%. Check this out, though. One of the biggest jumps in terms of median price, and it's also why we do the micro market. And this is why it matters that your agent uses localized data to help make better decisions. So watch this. Median price in Little River is up 40.7% in the last 12 months, which is crazy for month versus month. So 245 in September last year. Right now it's 344,679, which is huge. So all those homeowners there are getting a lot more equity, which is awesome. Inventory for homes for sales down 44.2%. So that's something to keep watching out for. Not that many condos in that area. Loris and Longs is identical in terms of sales. It's crazy. 76 sales last year in September, 76 sales this year in September. So right on the money. The biggest difference, though, prices up 34.9%, which is huge. So at 255,000 last year in September is only 189. It's crazy in terms of what we're seeing in the biggest difference here. Percent of list price received, they're up over 100%. They're getting over asking price on average 100.1% of all listings on homes in Loris and Longs right now, which is just mind-blowing. Living here, being the business almost 20 years, you're just seeing it grow out there like crazy. Inventory down 46.6% in terms of the amount of homes for sale in Loris and Longs. Obviously not a whole lot of condos out there. Conway, 3.6% increase in homes for sale. Homes sold, which is awesome. Median price up 27.9%. The median price right now at Conway, which is 29526, 29527, is 269, up from 210,300 last year, which is huge. Very easy to get a house out there for 150, and now you're at 269. Inventory for homes in Conway down 48.8%, which is huge, right? That's where you're seeing that inventory crisis we've been talking about, which does give to that super seller market right now in terms of homes. So Carolina Forest, they saw a decline down 3.4%, which is not bad, not like some of the other areas, but median price up 29% in Carolina Forest last month, which is huge. So 306 last year to 394,671. So huge jump there, a lot of extra equity. And that's what's happening. We're getting homeowners a lot more money than they actually think they can get based on these online data or Zillow or whoever else. Don't trust that. You want an expert who can really read the data and predict and push that number a little higher sometimes, which is very, very important. Inventory down 49.3% in terms of Carolina Forest. So that's something that's same thing there. Half the amount of homes for sale. In the Soxy dropped down 30.4% decrease in sales in Soxy. Some that has to do with inventory. The prices, though, up 16.3%, which is great. So last year in September, 233,200. This year, 271,250, which is awesome. 50.2% less homes for sale in Soxy and 295,88 than there was last year at the same time. Surfside, where I grew up, my mom, stepdad lived there. Closed sales down 25.6%, which is interesting to me in terms of that, because inventory is not too low, only 31.4% decrease in inventory. Right now is 131 homes for sale into September. But here's the key number, which is great. Median price up 24.6%. So last year was at 269.15 up to 324,985. So great news here. Condos in Surfside up 10% last month, which is great. Median price for condos up 24.1% from 117 to 145,250, and there's 79.1% less condos on the market right now than there was the same time last year. In the Garden City, Myrtle's Inlet, 29576. Closed sales were up, which is interesting, up 19.5%. Median price up 29.7% from 274,750 up to 356,399. So that's awesome. Inventory down 29.1%. And so you can see the fluctuation, right? From closed sales being up 19.5% in Garden City to North Myrtle Beach being down 14%. The data does really matter in terms of your strategy and decision making and what you do. Condos Median price in condos in Garden City, Myrtle is up 18%, which is awesome. Inventory is down 61.1%. Last couple ones here. Pawleys Island, sales down 22.8%. The great news is prices up 30.8% from September last year to September this year. 407 last year to 532 500 right now, which is awesome. We've been selling some very, very big high-end homes down there as well. Inventory is down 50.2% there as well. And into Georgetown, 20.0% decrease in the amount of homes sold. But it's an interesting number here, which is kind of skewed because they have only 24 homes sold. So September last year, the median price was $626,875. This year, it's only $268,892. Now, doing this for a while, that's because the data is just less homes, right? It can be skewed very easily based on what's being sold from anything from Devereux all the way to, further inland. So the good news is year to date, prices are up 7.6% in Georgetown. And obviously, we want to break that down per neighborhood for you. So what's that mean overall? It means that you're seeing a little bit of a shift. Okay, we saw some declines in sales in some areas. We'll see probably a little bit of softening of price. If I'm thinking about selling, I'm definitely not going to wait to spring of next year. Interest rates are going up. We are seeing some buyer fatigue and just a little bit less buyers. So if you're thinking about selling, reach out to us. We can help you craft a strategy. There's never any, pressure or obligation. We're here to help serve for the long term. And so if you want to know more, reach out to myself. My office is more than happy to chat with you and say, look, here's what's going on. Here's what's happening in your neighborhood. Here's what can happen if you sell now. Here's what can happen if you go and wait a little bit. And so we'll be more than happy to reach that. And one last thing, though, is interest rates. Interest rates are up. Last week's show, we were at 3.14%, which is interesting, right? The week before that, at 3.15. Just a few weeks ago, we're at 2.93. Right now, 3.23% right now for a 30-year fix, which is, significantly higher. Everyone I talked to says it's going to continue climbing up into, first, second quarter next year. 15-year fixed rate, 2.60%. FHA loan right now for 30 years, 2.87%. A jumbo loan, 3.15%. And a 5-year adjust rate mortgage right now, 3.10%. So what's that mean? If you're thinking about buying or selling, take action now. As rates climb up, there's less affordability, less buyers, and it's going to probably cost you money on the home seller side in terms of your hard-earned equity. So if you want to know more, reach out, call us, 843-808-SOLD. Take a quick break and be right back.
Trusted friend in the real estate market, Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group, and with the market the way it is today. So what are you doing differently?
With the market being the way it is today, we're doing things totally different. We outspend the average agent here in our marketplace 100 to 1. We bring in national and international buyers that bring more buyers to our homes, that generate more offers, and in many cases, multiple offers that get our clients top dollar.
Makes sense. So what does that mean for someone who lists today?
That means that anyone that's thinking about listing today, if they list with an average agent, they can cost themselves $10, $20, $30, $40,000 of their hard-earned equity because
Dave, how you looking on time?
Not get the exposure that they deserve. They must call a top agent with the right marketing plan to get them the exposure they need.
All right, as always, thanks for the insight. Call
Okay.
Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Very, very excited to have that commercial. Brand new one from Sean Hannity. Like I said, been doing business with him for, I guess 11, 12 years now. And super amazing guy, big real estate investor. We got 3 more of those we'll be sharing as well. You'll probably hear them on this station here playing throughout the Clay and Buck, also through Sean Hannity Show. So very, very excited about that, to see those commercials come out and actually be doing one with Sean himself, which is awesome. So we're going to jump into our hot buyers alert. This is one thing we talk about all the time, and I usually have Dave do, but here's the deal. My team and I are working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach, Grand Strand area from $150,000 to $3.5 million. We have a few above that, but one thing that we've been doing since we started the show is we share, we just kind of put it all out there on the table and say, look, here's our buyers, here's what we have, and here's the reality of it. And that's the one thing that you can't fake in this business. And so we share a hot buyer alert every single week. We share our active, real buyers on our website. Usually Dave reads those, but I have those this week. 64,811 active home buyers right now that are registered on my site that we have that are searching for a home like yours. And that's what the big difference between us and anyone else is most agents will start marketing once they put the sign in. I've been spending tens of thousands of dollars every single month driving traffic from across the world, really, and the Northeast specifically, bringing buyers in. So that's how we match up buyers with our homes instantly and sell them very quickly and for top dollars. So like right now on the site, I got Ed Sweeney from Roanoke, Virginia. He's on the site. He's got 2 favorites right now. I got Carol Marriott from Collingswood, New Jersey. I got Michelle from Youngstown, Ohio. I got Ashley from Spotsylvania, Virginia. I got Rocky from Binghamton, New York, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Somerville, Massachusetts, Englishtown, New Jersey, and I got Rich Evans from Chicago, Illinois. And so all over the place, people searching this. And so if you're thinking about selling, reach out to us. If anybody you know, friend, relative, aunt, uncle, that's the main reason we do this show is just, hey, look, if you know someone that's looking to sell, don't let them be a horror story. Don't let them go with an average agent who just puts it in MLS and costs them their hard-earned equity. And so say, look, you got to call my buddy Blake, 843-808 sold. We got about 2 or 3 minutes left. Like, awesome. I want to get through really quick, amazing success stories. I'm very, very proud of that. We call this one $80,000 more, which is awesome. Melissa, she was in a tough situation, needed to sell ASAP before she potentially got foreclosed on. The home also needed a lot of work. She was afraid that no one wanted to purchase her home until no one wanted to purchase her home based on the condition it was in. She reached out to those local investor websites. They lowballed her, offering ridiculously low numbers. Thankfully, she referred to us from someone who was online. We came in, showed her how we can get her exactly what she needed, way more money, and get it done immediately and sold as is. Create a custom plan that was a little bit different. This was a hybrid model, we called it. Launched our global marketing blitz, drove massive traffic. Check this out. Within 2 days, we got 18 offers. She accepted an offer $20,000 above her asking price and $80,000 more dollars than the highest investor offer that she was offered. And so by her reaching out, she got $80,000 more dollars in her pocket versus just taking some vulture lowball investor. And you see this happen all the time. If you know somebody who's in trouble, don't let them get taken advantage of. We're licensed. We have a very good reputation here. We want to keep that. We want to get people the most amount of money possible. Last one here. Tom had a very unique property in Surfside. He had listed with a quote friend for many months, and they had barely any traffic. The photos were terrible. I looked at them personally. They were taken from a cell phone. The bottom line is they were super frustrated. Found about us from amazing radio listener, called in. I designed a custom plan. We easily found out the problem, which is marketing. Launched a global marketing blitz, professional photos, with massive traffic, able to get them an almost full price offer, put maximum equity in their pocket. The coolest part, he loved our virtual reality walkthrough because he worked from home and his kids were homeschooling. He felt like the virtual tour brought only qualified buyers in his home. So if you want to know more about that or our virtual reality program, reach out, call me, 843-808 sold, and we'll see you here on the show next week.
Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LeVox, lead singer of Rascal Flatts. When I'm Moving On won the award for Acm Song of the Year, it struck a chord with folks who understand the challenges that come with life's big changes. For many, that happens when it comes time to sell their home. If you're moving on, you want a real estate agent who will make selling your home easy and stress-free. An agent who's willing to let you out of the contract.
Somebody must turn down the monitor.
That's why in Myrtle Beach,
Yeah, speaker like it's off or something. I tried to turn the speaker, and it still was
different level.
all right, because there's no green light when I hit the green light underneath there. Yes, maybe they unplugged it when they put that in. Okay,
Although I thought it was on the other day.
okay, I'll look on there for you.
If you're moving on, trust Blake to provide your family a secure.
All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Any questions?